I want to start this video by saying that you have to put your bias aside, and I will do the same. I will try to do my best here to be as unbiased as possible, because we need to understand that innovation comes when there is challenge. If we, as the consumers, are not challenging these companies, we will never get innovation. And I will try to give you the information with facts, giving you objective facts, explaining why I think these companies are not innovating enough. I will probably say Apple is the worst when it comes to innovation, and then we have Samsung, and then we have Google. I will discuss them all in this video, but I want to start with Apple because, as you know, maybe you know, maybe you don't, but I worked for Apple for almost 10 years of my life. So I know more or less how the company operates. Still was working there. I know what is important for the company. I thought that lately these things were changing, and I will tell you why specifically, and I will give you again facts. I won't give you my opinion, I will give you facts. This is why I waited a little bit longer to put out this video regarding the iPhone 16 as well, because I want to gather some information, some data, some thought as well, and give you what I think is actually something you need to know. Because I think the job that we have here is to give people watching our videos information that are useful. So that is the main concern that I have when I put out a video. So let's start with the design of the phones. I will analyze phones because these are the main products that these companies sells, specifically Apple in this case. Of course, we have Macs, we have other products, but I want to talk about phones in this video. So let's start with the design of the phone. Of course, we started with the iPhone 3. We all know how that looks like. Then we have the iPhone 4, and then we have the iPhone 5 and 5S specifically. I will start from this specific year because this was the first year after, of course, Steve Jobs died, and this is the first year that actually Tim Cook took over the company. And here I just want to give you one of the sensations that I have of what actually happened when Steve Jobs left the company to Tim Cook. I think he said to him, don't make the same mistakes that I made. So meaning make the company as much profitable as you can so we won't have the same issue that we had in the past. By doing that, you are sure that the company will still make money and can be profitable and can still actually exist. So I think that was the main concern for Steve as well. And again, I don't know for a fact, but this is the feeling that I actually have, and this is what actually happened. Because if you see what happened to Apple, you put the leading the company a numbers person, and that is all that matters for Tim Cook. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I think people want also innovation from a company this big, and I will tell you why in a sec. Let's again analyze the designs of these phones. So we have the iPhone 5 and then 5S. They look pretty much the same when we looked at the iPhone 4, maybe a little bit different, maybe bigger, the screen, all different things in comparison to the iPhone 3 and 3G. So we will still, seeing some changes in the design. After that, when we switched to the iPhone 6 and 6S, we had actually a brand new design with the rounded corners. The iPhone was completely different, and people were actually buying those phones because it felt like something fresh, something new, not just a software update, a minor update. And we still had 6, 6S, 5, 5S. So people knew the design was the same, but they had improvements into the hardware. Because again, at the end of the day, yes, we care about the performance of the phone, but mainly a person buys a new phone because it looks different, because it feels fresh. That feels again something that has been innovated for a while. After the iPhone 6S, which by the way, I remember being in the company at that time, and everybody was so excited because it looks so different from what we used to. We went with this specific design for almost 3 years, and this was the first time we've seen a company keeping the same design for a lot of different years. 3 years is a lot when we talk about tech, of course, because if we think about a phone that has been changing every single year, now we go on a 3-year cycle. That is something that is, of course, different, and not in a good way. I'm saying the same design, even if it's not 100% the same, but what I mean is the shell of the phone is the same. Yes, we have different colors. We have the iPhone 7 with the jet black. Well, actually, that design in that color looked amazing, but it was not resistant for scratches at all. I remember that was the first phone that actually water resistant as well. I remember the commercial for the phone of a person using the phone in the rain. So that was something that I remember. And yes, I'm saying the design was the same because the outer shell 90% was the same as the iPhone 6. So again, we used that design for almost 3 years. After the iPhone 6, again, we have the 6S, 7, and so on and so forth. And then in 2017, we finally got an update. Instead of having the iPhone 9, we skipped the 9 and we went straight to the iPhone 10 or iPhone X, but the pronunciation is iPhone 10. And I remember being in Ireland at that moment, working in Apple there, and we watched the keynote all together, and I was so excited finally having a new complete design of no buttons on the phones. The design of the camera was completely different. The screen was completely different. We finally got Face ID that felt like magic. I remember the demo. It didn't work. That was funny. But yeah, I was again finally excited after 3 years of seeing the same phones every single year to finally being able to see something different. And that is a key factor here. People and Apple fanboys, you can call them as you want, they are excited for the smaller things. And funny enough, it's not that hard to make them happy. Just make something a bit different and will be so happy and amazed by it. And I really don't understand why they don't do it anymore. But yeah, with that aside, again, we have the iPhone 10 in 2017 and Apple used that design for a couple of years. So again, this is now a trend. So create a new design, use it for X amount of years, and then change the design saying, you know, this new design is everything you ever wanted, the best iPhone that we ever created. Yes, of course, it's the best iPhone you ever created because it's the latest you just released. So, I mean, that is, you know, marketing. But again, this is what they did. They used the design for 2 years. And after that, we got the iPhone 11. And after the iPhone 11, that's it. So the iPhone 11 came out in, reading because I wrote down this information, on September 20th, 2019. 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're 2025. 6 years of having the same design. What I mean by same design, again, the 90% of the outer shell of the phone looks the same. Yes, we have cameras that look different. They change positions of the cameras. They make it bigger, smaller, the screen, the notch, the dynamic island. They're changing small little things. But the outside of the phone is 90% the same and has been the same now for 6 years. I think that is just unexcusable. Specifically, why I'm saying all of these things, because one thing is, you know, you're a startup, you don't have enough money to invest in R&D, and it makes sense to try and save as much money as possible and keep something that works. But Apple is a $1 trillion company and they have more than enough cash to test and see if they can get access into new industries. They did it with the Vision Pro, but that was something that was just so wrong in so many levels. If you want me to do so, I can make a video specifically to that. But what I'm trying to say is, you're Apple, you have enough cash to do whatever you want. Just try and see if something works, and if it doesn't, just scrap it, as they did in the past. In the past, they did things specifically, even with, of course, a lot less cash than what they have now, and they tested and didn't work, and they then went ahead and tried the next big thing. You know, the thing is, if you have enough cash, you can fail 9 times, but the one time that you get it right, you make up for the money that you lost during the process of finding the right thing. And this is what actually upsets me as a ex-Apple employee or ex-Apple customers as well. I hate the fact that they have the money to innovate and they choose not to, because this is a choice. It's not something that happens because there's no innovation anymore. We know that iPhone peaked for market in general. The smartphone market peaked a couple of years ago. So we know the phones now are just overpowered for what we actually need to do. But this is not an excuse to try and make them different. Let's see what actually Huawei did with the latest foldable phone. I'm not saying everybody should do foldable phones, but that is maybe a beginning to try and do something different. I mean, just do that. Even if it sucks at the beginning, just show your customer base that you're actually willing to take the risk to try and do something new. So this is something that I really don't like about how the company operates. And again, this all comes back to the person who actually manages the company. There is a numbers person. Tim Cook, of course, the main concern is numbers. How many sales the company has, how much money the company is making. That is the main concern for him, because he wants to, of course, keep the company as much profitable as he can to make the investors and everybody else happy. That is the main concern that he has. But the problem with having a number person instead of a product person is that you will end up losing in innovation. And that is what is actually happening. Now we are with the iPhone 16. This phone is just not acceptable in 2024. I'm not going in depth with the 60 Hz display refresh rate, because that is something, I mean, you know better than me what that means in 2024. I'm saying design. I'm tired of seeing the same exact design every single time. Just risk of doing something different. I mean, your slogan is think different, but why you don't do it? Because you're scared that if you do it, if it doesn't work, you lose money. Of course, if you do it for the stupidest reason, with the stupidest product that is the Vision Pro, and it doesn't work, and you lose a lot of money with that. Even if the tech product itself is actually nice, but the market is not there yet. Leave it to Meta and other companies to make this market more mature, but then get into the market. But don't go into still not developed market. Do it in something that you might already have knowledge about. R&D that you already did for other specific products. Foldable phones. I mean, you are in the phone market. Why don't even try and make one? Because you think, you know, this is something nobody wants in 2024? Well, the numbers say otherwise. People like having the choice. And this, funny enough, will keep people in the ecosystem as well. Like for me, for example, now I have the S24 Ultra, but if I'm getting tired of using this one, what I will do is actually going for the Z Fold 6, and and I have the different experience, but with the same brand. That is what Apple is not doing. And again, I can't believe in 2024 we have the iPhone 16, 16 Pro, and these are called the best devices that you ever had. Innovation. Like, let me give you this example, and then I close up with the Apple section of this video. Look at the AirPod Max. So these headphones came out 4 years ago, not 4 months, 4 years ago. And you have the nerve to release a new version with just new colors and USB-C. I mean, that is so embarrassing to watch. Not because I like, one thing that I want to make clear, I want Apple to succeed. I love the company and I still do, but I'm getting so fed up with these little things that they do and people still don't understand, and I want to point that out. And again, I think the power of keeping this company accountable comes from us. So we are the people deciding how the market should go. Because if we don't buy these products every single year, I know a lot of people are not upgrading this year, and they didn't last year as well, they maybe think, okay, maybe it's time for us to do something different. Or maybe just don't release a phone every single year. If you want to create a new trend, just do that. But we are the problem here too, because then we want to have a new phone and shiny phone every single year. But I would rather not have a phone every couple of years, but it's like completely different. Then I would say that is probably better than just what we have right now. The iPhone 16 and 16 Pro are not worth the upgrade, are not worth the price. Just buy a 15, discount it, maybe on the used market if you want to, and just save money. Doesn't make sense for you to upgrade at all. Yes, you have the little button extra on the camera thing, but for example, I don't use the cameras on a phone. I don't care. Other people, they don't care about that. Maybe some people do. And if you do, you may be amazed by this. But are we really trying and justify this upgrade because they added a button on the phone? To me, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So yeah, to resolve this issue, I think we should have a product person leading the company instead of just a number person leading the company. And I have nothing against Tim Cook, of course. I like the way he grew the company. He needed to fill really big shoes, and he did it, bringing the company like really good level. Just invest some money to show the customer that you still care. That is the last thing I'll say. So let's continue with Samsung. I'm new here. I want to put this out there, so I'm not an expert in Samsung, on the history of Samsung whatsoever, but this is what I'm noticing being in the ecosystem for the last few months. The first thing is, for me as an Apple user, Samsung was always the company that was trying to innovate, even trying to make things differently, failing, but at least trying to make things differently. But then of course you go online, you see people complaining because the last 3 or 4 years has been the same for Samsung as well. Even if I think, yeah, if you look at the back of the phones, like they almost look like this, but I think they made a lot of different innovations, if we can call innovation, on display. So we removed the curved display from the S23 Ultra to the S24 Ultra. So they did some changes, but again, I know for the Samsung user, this is not enough at all. And one thing that I like about the Samsung user, and they actually tell the company when they don't like something. And when it comes to the company listening to the user, I think actually Samsung does this. I will show you now this article over here. Samsung chairman is reportedly angry with mobile team for copying Apple design. So this means that probably they're trying so hard to keep, copying in a good way. They're so upset because again, Samsung has always been the company who tries and innovates and even tests new markets and try and make things differently. So one thing that I am actually happy about is the fact that yes, this might be true for phones having the same design on the back. I can understand how frustrating that is. Again, almost 6 years of Apple, so I know exactly what Samsung people think. But I think they need to be happy in a way, because Samsung tend to, this is my experience. Again, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But I think Samsung tends to listen to the users. And this is vital for a company to survive. So I'm thinking probably not next year, but in the next couple of years, we will see Samsung innovating again. Because this is something I want to tell you, because sometimes I see people, oh, this company is copying that company. Listen, if I release a phone tomorrow, I didn't make the phone yesterday. To be more specific, if now we have the S25 Ultra, right? And maybe has some things that are similar to the iPhone, it's not Samsung copying Apple or vice versa, because the development of the phone, so the research and development of the phone happens probably 1 year before that. Then they have to go into production. They have to test, of course, everything, quality control. So this process takes approximately 1 year. So if you see a phone that is the S25 next year, this is a phone that was probably developed the year before. So we don't have to think about they developed the phone like like a week before that, and then they start selling it the next week. So put this in perspective when you think about who is copying who and what is happening, why everything is the same. So for this reason, they are probably already creating the S26. So this is the reason why I don't think they will innovate with the 26, but maybe they will do it with the 27. So this is my prediction for the future. So to summarize, Samsung in this case, it's not as bad as Apple. They're probably starting to not innovate enough. The customers are calling them out, but they probably will address this soon enough. And third place here, we have, of course, Google. And I have to give props to Google because they are trying their best to innovate. In my opinion, I don't own a Google device. I'm really thinking about with the 9. I might buy it. I don't know. Let me know if you have it in the comments and how you feel about your Google phone. But what I think is, let's take a look at the Pixel 6, for example. From the 6 to the 9, they always change the design of the phone. We have the curved display, we have the camera bar in a way, we have camera, they did something, they created a foldable phone as well. So they're innovating. But I want to mention the software here because this is what is the core of the business as well. And I want to give you this as an information. Google, we all know, is releasing and killing features every single year. This is what a company needs to do. I don't get mad at Google because they kill a specific program or a specific feature. I'm happy about it because they have cash and they want to use the money they have to try new things. They might fail, they know that, but they don't care. They keep doing it because eventually they get it right and they have something that actually works. And this is true for hardware as well. That's why they're now into the hardware market as well with the Google phones, with their own processor as well. And we have to recognize this. These companies have so much cash and they need to risk for us. Because, we want better things, we want better products, we want products that work best, we want products that work better than the previous one. And we, of course, want something that is different. We don't want the same thing every single year. It's the AI thing is fine. We can get, software updates. That's okay. But mainly, let's be honest, we upgrade when we see a new hardware thing that we actually like a lot. So this is my opinion about Google. We all know how they try and again, fail and kill features and add features. And I like that. I want maybe Apple to do a little bit more of that too. Come up with something new, try it out. If the customer likes it, just keep it. Otherwise, just kill it. That is the way you can do it. They did sometimes with software. Apple did it with some software, but software is easy because it's less expensive than hardware. I can understand how expensive hardware is compared to software. So killing a software thing is easy, but killing a hardware thing is, of course, much, much harder. But again, a trillionaire company doesn't need to have this type of issue. They don't have to burn everything they have. They're just saying, just allocate some money to try new projects. Release it to the public, test it out, see what happens. If it doesn't, try the next one. Because again, you're not making like zero money. People are still buying. Look at the Vision Pro. So try even something that costs less because, doesn't make any sense to come up with something new that costs almost $5,000. That is just, I think it's a stupid decision and a stupid strategy. So yes, to summarize this video, I think overall, the concept is it's up to us. If we don't challenge these companies, regardless of the company you like the most. If you're Apple fanboy, if you're Samsung fan, whatever the case may be, I don't care about that. We want technology that makes us happy. We want technology that is better. We want new things. We want innovation. And we won't get innovation until we stop giving excuses for this company to be lazy. They have a lot of resources, a lot of really good people that I'm sure they want to innovate as well because they love tech as much as we do. It's the executive part that they don't understand because the only thing they see is money. So to be able to send a message, the only way we have is to address the issue when it makes them understand the real issue, not buying the product. So using the tool of the wallet. If you do that, these companies will be challenged. And again, with challenge, you have innovation. But again, let me know what you think in the comments. I like to have an open discussion with you guys. As you know, I understand and I accept any opinion regarding, if you're Apple fan, if you're a Samsung fan, if you're a Google fan, regardless of what is your bias, we all here because we like technologies. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you liked this video. If you did, give it a like. With that said, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you very soon in my next video.